Hello everyone. It's a beautiful day today in North Carolina. I was wearing a coat last week and now I'm wearing a tank top obviously. I figured I'd do this video outside today, but it's kind of windy, so I'm doing it in my garage. Just wanted to talk about a few things. How's everyone feeling after the Mercury retrograde? Has anyone experienced any changes in themselves or others? I'm definitely feeling that, I definitely have a physical feeling that it's over. Like, communication seems to be getting better with everyone I've been talking to and stuff. And everything just feels a little bit normal now again. What I really wanted to talk about today was dimensions, and the reason being, back when I was in the Marine Corps, my first job was that of a field radio operator, which is what everyone thinks of when they think of the guy that carries the radio in with the grunts and the infantrymen, and usually the first one to get shot. So I signed up for that, and I really kind of enjoyed it. Learned a whole lot about different frequency bands and different radios and how they operate on those bands and whatnot. And I'd like to break it down even in a more relatable manner and say, like even in your car when you're listening to the radio and you're kind of tuned in on a station, but you're kind of not. You get like that static, you know? And when people are talking about these dimensional shifts from the third to the fourth and the fifth, they're not real, like, I think people are able to operate in between those as well. So it's not really like, you don't just go from the third straight to the fourth and then straight to the fifth, like without any kind of in between. It's more of like a gray area. Like the area that your radio maybe turned to 94.5, the station is 94.6. I don't know if I'm explaining this right. Hopefully somebody gets it. But during these shifts, they're a gradual process typically, and you can definitely shift from one to another very quickly, but typically in my experience these shifts are subtle, and obviously they're kind of shaped by your attitude and your emotions and the different goals that you might have, and just kind of your perception of the world. That's kind of going to give you what frequency that you're operating at. If anyone else has any thoughts on this, leave a comment below. I'm going to try to start doing these videos more often, but yeah, it's interesting to me. Like I was saying, in the Marines we had tons of different radios, and each one of those radios would operate on a different frequency band. So some of the radios couldn't talk to each other, which explains a lot about what people are able to perceive. You know, like if I were to watch a video on YouTube that's talking about things that are of a fifth dimensional nature, then it's because I am tuned to that same frequency band that those emotions and everything are operating on. So, I mean, it sounds way out there, but in order to perceive something in this world a certain way, you have to be resonating at that frequency as well. So it goes back to those wonderful Marine Corps radios that didn't work half the time, and it's just some of the folks in my life, like just talking to people with, you know, normal conversations and whatnot. When I tell them things about star seeds and the world shifting into the next dimension, and being positive, and law of attraction, and all those different things. Some people don't deny it, but it's literally like they have like the deer in the headlights look, and it's just like they can't even grasp it. Or to me, it feels and looks like it just goes through them completely. And then I'm like, oh, they're like, I guess they're not ready yet, or they're not vibrating at the same frequency of what I'm telling them. And it kind of really, I don't know, it's like discouraging at times, I guess. But I mean, those of us that understand what's going on right now and want to help out with what's going on the planet, we should try not to get discouraged with what we're doing. We should stay positive, because whether these people that believe this stuff or don't believe it, whether they want it or not, we're all transitioning along with Mother Earth into the fifth dimension, and there's no one on Earth that's going to stop that. And it's kind of changed my perception towards people that don't really, not that they don't agree, but you know, you can disagree with things in a certain way. But there was a post that I saw on Instagram earlier, and this lady had mentioned something about the shift, and this guy said, I don't see anything happening, or like it was really just kind of an asshole, snide kind of comment. And for me, like the old me, I would have most likely came back with some sort of equal response towards him, like, you don't know what you're talking about, whatever. But at this stage of how I feel and my meditations and the things that I've been doing, I just left it alone, because there's no need to feed. Because if you put emotion into something, you're feeding that idea. So I thought it best to just leave it alone and kind of let it fade with the rest of the third dimension. In case none of y'all know what these different dimensions are that I'm talking about, I'm gonna go over them shortly. I kind of have notes here that I take periodically. Really the only three dimensions I've kind of studied are the third, the fourth, and the fifth, which the Earth, as of 2012, made this shift or this move in vibrations, and it essentially opened up the fourth and fifth dimensions to everyone on the Earth. So these are dimensions you can access right now. And when I say dimension, I'm not referring to a place that you go, like another world, or you know, another planet, or something like in a sci-fi movie. When I say dimensions and which ones they are, you have access to them, and depending on your vibration and how you resonate with them, that is the dimension that you will perceive in this life. What's up, buddy? You feeling any better? My son has an ear infection. So the third dimension is mainly duality. So when I say duality, that's positives and negatives. There's really not a lot of room for gray area in the third dimension. You know, like either you hate something or you like it. It's very like, I compare it to politics, because I used to be into politics quite a bit, and I'd go back and forth between the different parties, and I would get all stressed out over the news, and I don't even watch the news anymore, nor do I care what or who is in the offices of our government and whatnot, because I just don't put energy into that anymore. It just doesn't it doesn't do anything good for me. So duality is mainly opposites. So along with that, what you doing, boy? Yeah? Why don't you go play with the rest of the kids? No? Did you take a bath? Okay. So, in the third dimension, people tend to seek happiness outside themselves.